Hey guys, what's up? Today going to do a bit of shape, sort of breaking down how teams should be attacking once a sin bin happens. And obviously sin bins are a big talking topic. And I kind of see a lot of teams sort of missing this opportunity. And there is going to be a lot of opportunities in this next coming weeks for the rest of the season while we start to adapt to these rules. First of all, this content is brought to you by Mad Dog Ginger Beer, Money Munster, the Prez, the King from Melbourne, the King of Queensland. He's just dropped a new alcohol and we're getting around it. So can't wait to be smashing a few of these. Let's get into it. So basically the basic principles of rugby league are there are 13 players on the field or at the start of the game anyway. And as we start to break it down, there should always be, and this is the most important part, there should always be 10 people in the defensive line. You've got your fullback holding back, and then you always should have 2 markers there as well. So a lot of the time, there is 10 people on the defensive line. To break it down, football players either talking percentages, splits, or lingo. So if we're breaking down that as a percentage, if I'm a football player and I'm looking down the field from left to right, this corner post here starts at 0, and this ends up at 100%. So in theory, if I'm playing off the 50%, that means I'm playing off the middle of the park. If I'm playing off 30%, that's kind of around the scrum line around here. 60% is around here as well. But what that actually does is split up the defensive line. So in terms of 10 people on the field, if you're playing off 50%, the fullback here's job is to split them up 5-5. So 5 left side, 5 right side. I like to talk in terms of splits. So when I say like a 5-5 split, a 6-4 split, a 7-3 split, that's the terminology that I technically like to use. So if I'm a football team and I go, we play off a 5-5 split, that basically means we'll play off right over the middle of the park. Some teams, and like Manly, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, they play off a 6-4 split here. So what it does, so you got 4 on one side and 6 on the long side. Or if some teams play off a 7-3, which is super hard. So we have 3 down here and then 7 coming across all the way across here. In terms of lingo, which is the last one I sort of brought up, lingo is like numbers. So say there's scrum line numbers here, they're 20 meters in. Some teams are like, oh, we love to play off a number. We love to play off a black dot. Black dot means underneath the goalposts or right in the middle. There's a black dot there. Or play off the logo. The NRL logo is right in the middle of the field. So they might be go, oh, get us to a logo, get us to a scrum line, get us to a number. Basically all it is, and depending how you want it, percentages, splits, or lingo, they're all trying to do the same thing. They're trying to shuffle this defensive line around so you can get to the splits that you want to play off. And it's important to understand these splits because personally I used to love to play off a 5-5. That was just better for me. But like we said, we're going to be talking about Manly who tend to like to play off a 6-4. There's 10 people in the line, 1 fullback, 2 markers. The terminologies are percentages, either play for 50, 30, 70. If I'm looking down the field from 0 to 100%, that way you can just communicate to your team on where you want your next play to go. Splits, this is the terminology I like to use, a 5-5 split, a 6-4 split. That means you're going to get to like a near post, far post, middle of the field, whatever it is. Lingo is like black dot, scrum line, logo. You'll hear these different types of terminologies from football players. What I see and when a player goes off, and what is going to happen is it's going to fuck up those splits somehow. So you got to understand, you got to know your spot, you got to get momentum, you got to have multiple shots, and the space on the outside is actually an illusion. So when teams are down one player, they'll all start to tighten up and they'll try and push you towards the outside. Melbourne do it really well because they've got spaces on the wing, so you don't want anyone going through you on your inside shoulder. So they'll start to tighten up the defensive line, and as they do, they'll push you towards the outside. So the most important thing, the space outside is actually an illusion. Knowing your spots. So different teams like to play off different spots, and I want to use Manly as an example here. Generate momentum. So say a sin bin happens and the player gets sent off. Now you guys got base knowledge of there's always 10 players in the defensive line. Once you lose a player, it actually fucks up those numbers. So if we play it off at 50 all the time, or the black dot or the middle of the field, there's always going to be a 5-4 split somewhere. So what you do is you generate momentum through here, if this is your spot here, and once you look up, you play to where the numbers are least. So ideally we'll have 5, maybe potential block shape here or stuff like that. And what you got to do is get to your spot, have your shot, get momentum again, and back to your shot, back to your spot. All right, so know your spot. Most teams will play off a certain area, which they love to, which I'm going to talk about Manly. Get momentum. You have to be going forward. You need your big guys to get you a quick play of the ball because it makes the next play a lot easier. And have multiple shots. So you're only down for 10 minutes. You may get 5 shots at them with the ball in hand. So we're going to talk about Manly here for a little bit. Their favourite place to play off is the far right post, which is like right here. And what they do, they'll have DCE, hold a wide 4, back rower, Harper, Saab. And then on this side, they will have Trebojevic, here's a play the ball, Trebojevic, Schuster, and then they just run their shape. Tommy Turbo's at the back here, centre winger. So this is their spot. They know that they love to play off a far right post. So say they get the ball down here, all they're trying to do is generate momentum and get to a spot here. And what they do, say the defensive line makes this tackle here, they end up with 3 on this side. What DCE does just causes overcall. He calls hot, he calls super. They have their shot down here. And if somehow these guys defend it, their next goal is to get back to their spot. So they'll get back to here, lay the line again, try and generate momentum and start to recount their numbers as well. On the other side, if they do number up, say they've got to their spot here, this is the far right post where they love to play off the most. DCE seen they've numbered up perfectly, he just sends it the other way. This is the play that they scored off a lot of the time, goes straight to Jake Trbojevic. You got to think there's only 5 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to stop 7. And this is the key to attacking when a man's down, because they're always going to be short somewhere. So they've numbered up here perfectly. DCE's seen it. He goes, fuck it, I don't want it. Let's send it this way. Jake Trbojevic straight to Schuster. And then they just play the shape off the back of that as well. In saying that, if they've numbered up this way and they get to this spot perfectly, and say Schuster's gone for the no-looker, hit a short, and they've made the tackle here, what they do is count the numbers on the blind side and they try and get back to this right post here. So you might see a Jake Trbojevic step in, pass it to a forward, and he'll just lay a line on this far right post again. And what they do, try and generate momentum, look up and attack again. So that's basically how you break down attack when you're down a number. Hope you guys enjoyed it.